Can you hear that sound? It's hard.
Welcome back to another episode of our baking series, Baking Until We Make It. Today, guys, we are going to be making cookie. As you guys know, we are learning and we are going to be noting all our mistakes so that when we are going to retry this recipe, we would not repeat the mistakes. So firstly, I melted some butter slightly. I didn't melt it completely according to the recipe I got. I just melt it just a little bit, just like you see in here, and I'm going to press that out. After then, I went in with half a cup of sugar. I'm not sure about the measurement. I don't have a proper measurement, but that is what I'll be using for this. And then I'm going to stir this together with my butter. I just stirred it properly until my butter gave me this texture. So my butter is going to change from very deep yellow color to a light yellow or a cream color. So once it turns to this color, you know your butter is ready. Now I'm going in with baking soda and baking powder. I also went in with a little bit of salt and I just sieved that into my mixture, my butter mixture. Then I stir that together, and the next thing I'm doing, I'm adding in my vanilla extract. So this is just vanilla, just a little bit. I don't need too much of that. I went with just 3 spoons of vanilla and then I stir that together. Now I'm going in with egg. So I used 1 egg. I'm putting it bit by bit. I'm going to be stirring this consistently until I'm sure of the texture before I stop. I do not want this thing to be too light, or I know I'm just following the recipe here and I don't want to make any mistake. So that's exactly what I am doing. I'm just doing exactly as I was being told. So yes, guys, so I'm just going to be stirring this until it has all formed a paste. Then I can go in with the other ingredients. Now I'm going in with a second egg, as you can see. Then I'm going to stir this again. I'll make sure I stir this butter and make sure that the egg has completely incorporated itself into the butter mixture. Now the butter is ready, and after stirring consistently, this is what I have. Now the next thing I will be doing now, I'm going to be sieving in some flour. So I go in with 1 cup first. We're going to be doing this slowly and just watching how our batter changes. So next I went in with my cocoa powder because we're making chocolate cookies. So I just sieve that in bit by bit. Like I said, we're going to be going in with our powder mixture bit by bit so we don't make a mistake. Okay, so I am going in with that right now and I'm just turning it up together until it has completely infused itself into this batter. Now I'm putting the rest of that flour and the cocoa powder, and I'm going to repeat the same process and just stir it all around together. So I went in with more flour because my batter is not thick enough for me. So I just put in 1 more cup of flour and I stirred that all together again until it gives me this consistency. I don't know if I'm okay at this point. So fingers crossed this comes out okay. Now this is my white chocolate. So I have this chocolate in the house. I tried eating it. I didn't like it. Actually, this is what gave me the idea of making cookies. So I just diced that up into small chunks and then I poured it into my cookie batter. After then, I just stir it together and make sure that it has completely mixed together with the batter, and that's pretty much it. My cookie batter is ready. Now the next thing I did, now I rubbed my palms with oil and then I just cut out a little bit of that cookie batter and I twirled it around just like I'm doing in here. And after then I just dropped it on a parchment paper. I repeated the same process and I just kept it. It was later on I realized how exhausting this is. So, and I noticed that even if you pick up your batter with a spoon or anyhow, it's still going to come out like a normal shaped cookies, because while it's in the oven or in your air fryer, it's going to flatten up. Like it's not going to stay round like you placed it. It's going to become flat. So that's just why I didn't bother rolling the rest of it. I just used spoon to scoop it into my air fryer. And then next, now if you don't have an oven like me, just take a pan, make sure it's not non-stick pan, and then place in a parchment paper in it. Then you can now properly put in your cookie batter and make sure there's space in between them because cookie tends to flatten up. So I just covered that with a foil paper and then I used the cover of the pot to cover it just to retain the heat. Now after a while, I went to check the one in the air fryer, and this is the result of the ones in the air fryer. I noticed it was very crispy at the top, and just around it was crispy, but inside was a little bit soft. And I don't know if that's the right texture for a cookie, a proper cookie. I really do not know, but I just know that a cookie is meant to be crusty a little bit. As you can see in here, the down part is still soft, but the top is dry and crusty. So I put that back into the air fryer for just a few more minutes, and it was okay. Now these are the ones that I got from my pan. These ones took longer time to actually cook, and then in the process it got a little bit more brown. I would say maybe burnt, but it didn't taste like it was burnt. So it take a while for you to cook, or for you to come up with this texture. So after making this for a while, I left it to dry out, and it came out just fine too. It became crusty outside. Can you hear that sound?
Hard.
So this is and I was actually surprised that it eventually gave me the result I was looking for. I just had to be patient with it. So, but for the one of the air fryer, that was just perfect. That was okay, the taste wise and everything. So this one also, the one for the pan, they tasted the same thing. The cookie made so much sense. I loved it so much. Look at that crust. You can see the way it's just crumbling. That's exactly what I was going for. Tell me how I did in the comment section, but tell me what you think my mistakes were. Tell me what are the things I need to correct, and is this the right texture for a cookie? Just let me know what you think I can change, the mistakes I need to make note of and correct, because I'm going to be creating this again and I do not want to repeat such mistakes again. That will be all for today. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on our next baking series, Baking Until We Make It. Bye guys.